Martinez, and I want to welcome you to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a drop-dead delicious pork in a Guajillo chili sauce. We're going to follow that up with beautiful, golden, bubbly chicken chilaquiles.
Daisy Cooks is brought to you by
As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. Marshalls, brand names for less.
All-Clad Metal Crafters. All-Clad is bonded construction. All-Clad is innovative design. All-Clad is professional equipment. All-Clad is a state of mind. Brillo with Oxy Action. For tough messes, Oxy Micro Bubbles lift and dissolve grease and grime. Brillo, cleaning solutions for your home for over 90 years.
Hola! Today we're talking about Mexico Mágico, Magic Mexico, and all its wonderful food. And I'm not talking Taco Bell. We have a fabulous pork dish that we're going to make today, and I'm not going to waste any more time talking. I'm going to get to it. We have some beautiful pork, either butt or a meat like that that's marbled. Belly is fine. Also, I want the meat to have some fat in it because it's going to keep the meat from drying out. And we're going to cut it in size for beef stew, you know, something like to that effect. If there's huge slabs of fat, you'll want to take that off, but a little bit is not going to bother anybody. I think it enhances the flavor of the dish. And any fat that is rendered subsequently will float up to the top, and we'll be able to take care of that. So I have a very good friend of Mexican descent. Her name is Elizabeth. Her particular passion in her culture revolves around chocolate. I mean, how cool is that, right? She just would study about the origin of chocolate and how chocolate played such a huge part in the history of Mexico. We got to get some water. So out of her passion, she started this little stand in the farmer's market where she lives in Portland. You know, people started tasting her chocolate, and she started doing things with her chocolate like the Mayans used to do things with their chocolate, like mix it up with chilies and put heat and strange herbs and scents in their chocolate. Word got around about how fabulous this girl's chocolates are, and a couple of these celebrity chefs in the area got wind of it and went down to check it out, and now she has an amazing following. She actually opened up a shop in Portland just recently. Just so proud of her. And that's all driven from passion in food and history and culture and her whole, you know, Latino heritage. It's a great story. Okay, so salt for flavor and a couple of bay leaves for fragrance. Let's set this on the stove. Okay, another magic something from Mexico, Guajillo chilies. These are dried chilies, and we're just going to take the tops off of them and just dump the seeds. I absolutely adore Guajillo peppers. They're really, really complex. There's a smoke in your nose, and then they have flavor that's reminiscent of like a bittersweet chocolate. I'm just getting rid of the seeds in here because we don't need them in our sauce. They really lend themselves nicely to this dish because it's like the perfect foil for the sweetness of the pork. I have a pan heating here. That feels nice and hot. I'm going to toast these chilies. I'm going to put them on a hot skillet. Oh, wow. Whew. It's smelling like something already. The minute those chilies feel heat, they start to bloom, almost like herbs. The entire room here is filled with their perfume. And you could see the color already. Beautiful. These chilies have no heat. Chile is a generic term, but this is not a chili that packs any heat. The flavor, though, is wonderful. In Mexico, you have a variety of peppers, from small to huge. You have the anchos, you have the chipotle, which are the smoked jalapenos. And the way that you use them is as diverse as the amount of chilies there are, from desserts to color to scent to flavor. Okay, I think these are done. You can see the color on them. Gorgeous. And I can smell them. They smell divine. Then, what I'm going to do is soak them for a little bit. First of all, we want to soften them because they're dried peppers. We want to reconstitute them and the full body of their flavor to come out. And they're going to get nice and soft, and what a sauce we're going to have. I'm going to blacken an onion and some tomatoes. And again, it's a dry nonstick pan, medium heat, and we're just going to keep turning that over until it blackens up. This is a very, very Mexican thing, the blackening of vegetables, and the blackness of the vegetables. You would think this is like no good, I have to throw this out. Actually adds, in addition to color, an incredible nuance, just another step in the flavor of your dish. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes now. Look what's happened to these vegetables. No, we're not throwing them out. This is what's supposed to happen. Beautiful color, charred stuff, that's exactly what we want. While the vegetables are happy, I'm going to go ahead and take out some of this cooking liquid, and we're going to use some of this broth that the pork has been cooking in our sauce. Okay, just set this over here for a sec. I'm going to drain the meat now. Take out these bay leaves and just pop this right back. And we'll bring this back to the stove. And I bought a few minutes for my onions and tomatoes. Cool. You know what? I'm going to steal a few more minutes. I'm going to drain my guajillos. And I don't need any of that water. I'm going to throw them into my blender. And I'm going to add some broth. And I'm going to save this liquid just in case while the sauce is cooking it starts to dry out a little bit. I have some reserves to kind of perk it up a little bit. Okay, look at this, perfect. This is exactly what I want. Vegetables are actually softened quite a bit because we've been cooking them at medium-high, but enough to give us some nice dark color. Okay, girls, everybody into the pool, and we're going to give this a little whir. Okay, you know when you blend something that's hot, like the broth and the vegetables and everything, you have to be careful. Sometimes the liquid will jump up because heat expands and the top lifts off, so you just have to be aware and careful when you do that. And we've got sauce. Let's see, look at the color of this. Is that beautiful? There are a few little chunks of onion and tomato in there. It does not bother me at all. Wow, that is insanely gorgeous. Now to this, I'm going to add salt. Could stand some, okay? A little pepper. Give this a little stir. And I'm going to go ahead and cover it, and we'll get back to that real soon. It's starting to smell like a happy place around here. Let's take a look at the pork. We've got a beautiful bubble going on, and gorgeous. We poached the pork for about 30 minutes, and we've been simmering it for about 45, but it's still firm, so we have about another 45 minutes, an hour and a half simmer all told. And I see the meat poking up through the sauce a little bit, so let's add a little broth. This broth is the poaching liquid that we reserved before. Okay, that looks beautiful. I'm not going to bother it. It's tasting fabulous already. Okay, 45 minutes, we're going to have some beautiful pork. Okay, I feel like a little kid on Christmas Eve night. Can't wait for this to happen. Wow. This is bubbling, it looks beautiful, it smells like heaven. The pork is melt in your mouth. So I'm just going to serve myself a little bit of rice. I made myself a little white rice because I didn't want to eat this by itself, just to have something to pick up that delicious, beautiful, gorgeous, satiny, silky sauce. I can't wait. My mother will say to me, "Tú eres una desesperada." You're too impatient. You never wait. Ma, sometimes you can't. And so what happens? I end up burning my mouth. But that's something I can live with. This is a dish that would be unbelievable to serve at dinner, but the next day, it keeps getting better. It's one of those dishes. I have some fresh chopped cilantro here, which is just going to freshen the whole thing up, just bring it right to the moment. And that's it. I can't wait one more second. You guys are going to have to excuse me while I taste. Oh my goodness. This is beat your mama good. That's how good this is. This is absolutely amazing. It melts in your mouth. Esto es mágico. This is true magic on a plate. I want to urge you to make this for your family and your friends today, not tomorrow. Don't wait. I know I'm not. Y chilaquiles. I want to set that to music. Chilaquiles. And I want to dance to it. Chilaquiles. What's chilaquiles? I like to call chilaquiles tortilla lasagna. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's a layered casserole of leftover tortillas and a sauce that you put together with leftovers, and you come up with a finished dish that's absolutely delicious. I'm telling you, I can't get excited enough about chilaquiles, and we're going to make some today. We're going to start off with a green sauce for our chilaquiles. It's very, very simple to make. Over here we have a very strange and different looking object, but beautiful nonetheless. These are tomatillos. When you peel the dry papery skin of a tomatillo off, you're left with what looks very much like a green tomato, but it is not a tomato. I should make that very, very clear, and it's not going to turn red ever. But they are delicious. They really, truly are delicious. And actually, here's a funny little note about it. Tomatillos is that when you peel them, sometimes they're like a little tacky on the outside. If you happen to taste it, it's so incredibly bitter. But the strange thing is that tomatillos are not bitter. It's just that tackiness on the outside. I'm going to process these because I'm going to be adding more things to the blender. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. To that, I'm going to add some Spanish onion, which is my onion of choice when I cook. I just find that it's one of the more flavorful onions. I'm going to throw in some garlic, and you know me, I'm not shy when it comes to garlic. Let's run that through for a sec. Now we're going to talk about epazote. Epazote is a distant cousin of mint. Because I really want you to try these dishes, I am going to try and approximate the flavor of epazote without actually using it. And to do that, I'm going to use some mint, and then we're going to add cilantro to the salsa verde. And I'm thinking that's about good. But in the event that you have the opportunity, that you're in a Latin market and you see it, treat yourself and pick some up. Okay, so mint. And you saw me take the leaves off the mint stalks, but you won't see me do that to my cilantro because those beautiful, tender little stems are absolutely delicious, and add to my sauce. And then, because I'm a rebel at heart, no, not really, because I like it, I'm going to add just a little bit of heat. I'm going to add some jalapeno. Let's give this a run. Okay. This is going to become your new favorite sauce. In my neighborhood, there's a large Mexican population. And when I go to church on Sundays, there are women who come every Sunday after Mass, and they set up these big coolers, and they're selling tamales, and they're selling churros, and they're selling all kinds of wonderful things. And I invariably end up picking their brain about, you know, what's the best way to make this. And when they heard that I was making chilaquiles, they were just so impressed. Sí, por favor. Pupusas with the works on Sunday morning. Yum. I'm going to bring the sauce up to a nice bubble, and then I'm going to let it simmer until it really dries out. You can see between the onions and the tomatillos, there's a lot of water in this sauce. I want to evaporate some of that water out. So we'll bring this to a boil, we'll let it simmer, and we'll be right back. Okay, we can see I've lost some of the water in the sauce. It's starting to change from that really green, that really fresh green. It's starting to turn almost like an olive green color. So we'll just leave that going. Now you guys know that in Mexico, the tortilla is like the bread of choice. I mean, people eat tortillas in Mexico every day. And this is a dish made of leftover day-old tortillas, yesterday's tortillas. But I'm going to assume that you don't have leftover tortillas from yesterday's dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare some from scratch. I picked up a package of regular tortillas. I'm going to cut them into thirds. These happen to be white corn tortillas. The usual corn tortillas look yellow, but these are in fact white corn tortillas, and I prefer to use corn tortillas for this dish. I have quite a bit of oil heating here, and I'm going to fry these tortilla strips. These will be the lasagna noodles in our casserole. Let's start throwing these in, and tortillas can go in a second. So you want medium-high heat, but if it looks like they're turning too fast, turn them down. You don't want them to burn on you. You'd have terrible chilaquiles, and that would be a shame. There you go. You get them dancing in that pan. Oh, these are absolutely perfect. Look at the color of these tortillas. They're a pretty golden brown. They're not too dark. They're crispy and pretty and bubbly and crunchy and delicious. But they're not going to be crunchy for long because we're going to hit them with some of this beautiful sauce. And while I finish up these tortillas, I wanted to address the type of cheese that you use. So in Mexico, the traditional cheeses they use are cotija, cheese from Oaxaca. I am going to do my chilaquile thing, and I'm going to use some manchego cheese, which is a semi-hard dry cheese from Spain, and has a really, really nice flavor. It's milder than Parmesan, but you get that salt. You know, you get that Parmesan thing. If you can't find manchego, I gotta watch these tortillas. Go ahead and use Parmesan. Okay, and these are almost done. Let me just turn the last one. See, they'll go on you, those tortillas. They will certainly go. Okay. All right. The other cheese that I'm using is a Monterey Jack cheese. It's a soft, buttery kind of cheese that I've grated. But again, make it your own. If you can't find Monterey, or if you don't like Monterey, try some mozzarella, or try some pepper jack, or try some Munster. Just make the recipe your own. And look how fast these came up. And our sauce is very happy now. Our sauce is bubbling. And you see the little bubbles now? I get very excited when my food talks to me. I make it a point to listen. A lot of the water has dissipated and how the color has changed. It's a beautiful, lush olive green now. And I think that's just about ready. So let me get to that chicken. In my house, there's always some leftover chicken. I usually just keep it there for the kids to pick on. But just as easily, as I mentioned, this is a leftover dish. We could use some of the leftover pork with the Guajillo chilies, and then you would have, as opposed to our green chilaquiles, you would have red chilaquiles, which are also absolutely delicious. So we'll be back in a second once I have all this chicken ready, and we're going to make some chilaquiles. Okay, we're having some fun now. I got all my chicken done, and this is about as much chicken as we need for our chilaquile recipe. Our sauce looks absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to spoon some out for the very top layer of our chilaquiles. And so we're going to add our chicken right into the sauce and really mix the sauce into the chicken. I am going to season it up a little bit, a little pepper. Ooh, I just got a whisper of jalapeno. Okay, our sauce is ready. I have a little butter here. Well, I have a lot of butter here, but I'm only going to use a little butter to paint the bottom of my casserole dish with. Okay, here goes. We're going to set our first layer of tortillas. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, it's a leftover dish. It's very, very homey, very informal, but delicious. Okay, and I'm just going to just push them down into place. Okay? And then I'm going to add my first layer of sauce and meat. Just spread it around, and cheese, Monterey Jack, and our grated manchego, just a little bit of sharp. Starting to look like a lasagna, right? Layer and layer and layer. Perfect. Perfect amount of sauce. Look at that. Okay. And our last layer of tortillas. Okay, and our reserved salsa verde. Just spread it around. Okay, and I want to remind you guys that this is very, very Mexican, not to be confused with the traditional Spanish salsa verde that you'll see me make with garlic and parsley and white wine and such. Equally delicious, just a little different. Our cheese. Do you like your chilaquiles cheesy? I do. And these are just about ready to sing in the oven. Once they start singing, I'm going to start dancing, and then we're going to be eating. Okay, so I saved the tortilla chip for myself. Okay, let's take these into the oven. We're going to let those bake at 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes, or until they're nice and brown and bubbly. And then get chilaquile, get chilaquile, come back, get chilaquile, I'm there, chilaquile. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes. Whew. Wow, it does not get prettier than that. We got chilaquiles happening in my kitchen today. It's bubbly, the cheese is melted, it's golden brown and crusty on top. The tortillas around the edges have just gotten real crisp again. Let's go ahead and cut this. You would serve this much as you would a lasagna. It really is a meal. You would have it with a little salad maybe, and I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of making just a little tomato and avocado salad dressed with a little lime and a little olive oil, nothing fancy schmancy. This is the moment of the chilaquile. Wow. Not too shabby, huh? I think that looks absolutely incredible. Okay, the moment of truth. My heart is racing. Mama, that's a spicy chilaquile. That's absolutely delicious. Tortilla lasagna, chilaquiles. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. My husband's Italian lasagna has nothing on this. That is so good. You guys have got to try this. Buen provecho.
Daisy Cooks, Latin flavors that will rock your world, is the full-color hardcover companion cookbook to this series. To order, call 800-336-1917. Daisy's top 10 basics and over 200 of her detailed recipes are included in this 320-page book. The price is $29.95. You can order your copy of Daisy Cooks by calling the toll-free number, or order online at her website, daisycooks.com.
Hola! it's Daisy. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at daisycooks.com. Tell me what you think. Sign up for my newsletter and get recipes and tips in English and Spanish. It's all at daisycooks.com.
Daisy Cooks is brought to you by
As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. Marshalls. Brand names for less.
All-Clad Metal Crafters. All-Clad is bonded construction. All-Clad is innovative design. All-Clad is professional equipment. All-Clad is a state of mind. Brillo with Oxy Action. For tough messes, Oxy microbubbles lift and dissolve grease and grime. Brillo, cleaning solutions for your home for over 90 years.